2, 3, 4. The hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. Don't do that. That's when you feel like a big dope. They're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you reach out for the hot tag and you go ahead and make your own comeback. Knock it off. That's when you should quit wrestling. And you're better off rolling in thumbtacks. AEW, the hardest part of the ring. It's the hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you're distracting the referee, and the babyface has your wrestler pinned. Then you're punched down to the ring apron, and you realize all the trouble you're in, 'cause it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Now double claps. Let's go, Bob Squad. NXT on Hulu. The hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Whoa, Nelly, here we are again, Bob Squad. We are all over the place this week. We are like white on rice, you crazy cats. It's hot in here. I'm sweating like a whore in church. Oh my goodness. It's the hardest part of the ring, Bob Squad. We were talking about the Hulu edition, the not limited enough commercial interruption. NXT edition of June 29th, 2021, Hulu. This is the last one before next Tuesday's special, kind of like a takeover light of Great American Bash. So it's very exciting to see how we're building up to that, and this is looking to be a pretty good one. So I think we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a very, very good time. We start off with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. Did you know that? Okay. Then we have 3 female tag teams all versus each other. Holy nuts. Okie doke. This had good stuff in it. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, Sloppy Blackheart, the Legion of Gimmicks 3000 is one of the teams. Io Shirai is teaming with Zoe Stark for reasons unexplained. And Raquel Gonzalez is teaming with her friend Dakota Kai because there's no challengers for the single women's NXT championship. Io and Raquel are the best things about this match, hands down. Io did the moonsault. I hate to just talk about the high studs, they're not really high spots, but you know what I mean. I hate to just talk about the big moves, but I'm going to on this one. Io does the moonsault off the second rope to the outside over the ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring. And I usually they start doing this stuff, I roll my eyes because they're all waiting to be caught. It's so contrived. She makes such good contact with whichever 2 women were catching her. I think maybe one of the Legion of Gimmicks and Dakota Kai or something, I forget. It was such good contact that it looked like it could believably knock a person down. I was like, all right. I like that. This is good. If you're going to do it, do it. We had to do the million dives in a row, because right after that, I think Ember does the thing where she holds the top 2 ropes apart so Shotzi can jump through, and then Ember has to flip off the top. So that's 3 already. Then Zoe Stark. Thankfully, the 2 heels in a match didn't bother with this. Zoe Stark has to do one and get everyone fired up, and everyone's waiting, and it looked so smooth and athletic and perfect and phony at the same time. Because it was so impressive. I forget what she just kind of ran up the ropes and did a big dive and got tons of air, and that's great. But man, the women just waiting around. We really got to stop doing the bowling pins all falling down. 5 people catch one and just tumble, even though they weren't touched in the lead. It's been overkill for like 10 years. Maybe not as long, but it's been overkill, especially since in NXT it's been like 5 years. Like, we gotta let it go. Every match doesn't need this. The most interesting to me about this was Raquel's dominance. Just not letting Zoe and Io do what they want to do her. That was interesting to me. Dakota took the pin. She took the moonsault. Io nailed this one, too. Sometimes she'll go a little leg heavy, or she'll just kind of hit the person with her forearms and face. But this one was right on the money. pins Dakota. You could see Raquel's frustration. I mean, I think it's too soon to start planting seeds to break up Dakota and Raquel. But on the other hand, Raquel's got no opponents. And then they're going to take the title off her and say, she wasn't a good champion. But you need opponents. You need a dance partner. And I just think she's gone through Io. Rhea's not there. She's gone through the Legion of Gimmicks. Who else is there? Zoe Stark's not a contender yet. I don't know. This is wishful thinking, and this won't happen. But what if Becky Lynch showed up in NXT for that? Geez, that would get some headlines. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Becky Lynch is a surefire. I think Becky and Rhea is what they're probably going to end up doing at some point. Well, they're going to do everybody and everybody at some point. So what the hell? I mean, I went off on a tangent. Yeah, this match gets 16,488 stars. Do not question the system. Just kind of frustrating. Yeah, Ember Moon looks like she's having too much fun. Like, look at me, I'm wrestling. I can't put it into words, but there's just no connection there. Yeah, what happens on the outside? Karrion Kross and Scarlett are walking backstage, and he gets attacked by Gargano. And Johnny Gargano throws him off, and all the officials get involved. Okay. Man. Well, actually, I'll get on that later. I want to talk about the way and the Gargano and how the way never goes away, but we have a breakout tournament 2 years ago. They did a tournament, oddly enough, with Bronson Reed and Swerve Scott for in the main event tonight. And a bunch of other guys. Cameron Grimes was one of them as well. But here we go again. We're going to do another new guy tournament. Who can we push that's already contractually locked in for not much money? Well, you tell me what it is. A blonde lady is talking to Bronson Reed. And I think this is when Swerve Scott and his 14 friends show up, and God, they're all imbeciles. I'm not feeling Hit Row, but anyway, they pretty much sucker Bronson into giving Swerve Scott a North American Championship title opportunity later this evening in the main event. Karrion Kross and Scarlett walk to the ring, and then Johnny Gargano comes out and cuts a babyface promo for I don't know what reason. Everyone's chanting Johnny Wrestling anyway, so bunch of smart marks are cheering the other heel, but I don't understand the feud. But anyway, Johnny Wrestling, who they're chanting for, he cuts a babyface promo. Austin Theory attacks Karrion Kross from behind. Karrion pretty much shrugs him off and chases him away. And wait a minute, I think that one ended with Gargano doing a kick. Gargano did like a super kick or something, and he temporarily got Kross down. And then you see Samoa Joe. And he's not happy. And then the way Gargano and Austin leave in a white car, and they're happy about kicking down Karrion Kross. This is the thing when the way is involved, with anything with Gargano, is that there's 19 little segments, and they're really hard to keep track of. He's got to get in a car and leave. He's got to get in a car and show up, then get in a car and leave, and then he's got to go to the ring, and then he's got to do 2 backstage things. One backstage before he goes to the ring, one backstage after. It's always, even if he doesn't have a match, it's always 20 fucking segments with the guy. And it's very perplexing to rattle off back to you and try to make it entertaining is really my issue here. So the Diamond Mine finally debuts officially. Roderick Strong wrestles some dude named Asher Hale, and Roderick... as I kind of thought, he did a very grounded Kyle O'Reilly type of style. He was like an evil Kyle O'Reilly the way he wrestled. But that would be a good one, him and Kyle. And Roderick beats the crap out of this kid, does that half rock bottom backbreaker thing, which just, every time I see one of those, I make the same noise. Ugh. Just makes me cringe. I like that. He's got a mean streak. We know he can go. He puts the kid in a crazy submission hold, and then the kid taps, and Roderick changes the submission hold. He's got both the kid's arms behind his head, up over his shoulder, and so he's tying the kid in a bunch of pretzel knots. So that's building up to go somewhere where I don't know. I do not know the answer to where, but it's doing something. Yeah, submission. The manager, I don't know this dude's name, Jeremy Piven or something. I don't know. Anyway, he didn't see. I thought he was gonna talk and show what he can do, and he just said, "Hey, Diamond Mine, open for business," and then they all laughed. He didn't say shit. But apparently, a lot of people like this dude. I like his look. I like his mannerisms during the match. So hopefully, we get some more out of this guy. I was a little let down. I thought he was gonna explain a little bit about what the Diamond Mine is about, what their goal is, why they're all behind Roderick Strong, and not that they shouldn't be. I just want to hear. I want to hear about it. But we didn't hear jack shit. I was a little let down. Why did we attack Kushida? I would like the manager to address this. He just said, "We're open for business." What the fuck does that mean? Are people going to pay you to beat up Kushida? I don't understand. A little let down. Speaking of let down, Kyle O'Reilly. Auto Parts is out there, oddly enough, looking like a mechanic. I like Kyle O'Reilly, I do, and I love his matches, but he cuts this promo. He just talks like, God, he talks like a soap opera character that a woman wrote for him. And he uses the word journey, blah, 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 on my journey. Shut up, dude. We don't say journey. Who told you to say that? Don't stop believing the people who tell you not to talk like that, because you shouldn't talk like that. Adam Cole says some stuff, and they're going to wrestle next week, I guess, at the Great American Bash. Because the first match was a no rules gimmick match. This one isn't, so I don't understand. Anyway, Samoa Joe comes out with a bunch of security dudes. Kyle O'Reilly says the word hospital. He'd be in trouble on Raw if he said the word hospital. Local medical facility, pal. Get with the times. Don't you listen to the WWE Universe? As they cheer you on to compete in a contest to get a title opportunity, and then you wear your championship. Unless you get hurt, you go to a local medical facility. Don't you know these things, Kyle? Adam Cole implies that he had sex with Kyle's wife. Well, that was out of left field. Anyone see that coming? And Kyle replies by standing closer to Adam Cole and making a mean face. Jesus. Why are we beta mailing the fuck out of Kyle O'Reilly here? I don't like it. Samoa Joe is able to hold them apart with one arm each, which actually looks realistic. He looks like the toughest guy in the show once again. So Cole tries to swing at Kyle, and Kyle puts him in a wacky hold. And Joe, this was neat. This was something different. Joe leaves him in the hold, and he tells security. He just kind of says, hold up," and he lets Cole suffer in Kyle's ankle pick thing until finally he says, "Okay, enough," and the security breaks it up. But that's interesting, and it gives Adam Cole something to complain about, which will make it even better. I mean, clearly there's a Cole Joe thing that they've been starting since day one with Joe, which was, I think day one was like a week ago or two. The Midget Street Crew, Memorial Sloan Kettering, MSK, pretending to be wrestlers are sitting on chairs across from Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, who look like actual wrestlers. Ciampa refers to Thatcher as Double T at one point. So these two teams are going to fight. And the real men are going to challenge the little guys for the tag championships at the Great American Bash. MSK, again, they're just imitating wrestlers, making stupid tough guy faces and looking like dorks. Like, I don't understand it. If I'm flipping channels and I just don't know anything about wrestling at all, I'm looking at Thatcher and Ciampa and they're across the ring from MSK, and I'm like, why is this fight should have been over before this interview is over? Anyway, then Tommaso Ciampa gets really close to Nick Carter. Is that the kid's name? And he kisses him on the cheek. I hope that's not a reoccurring thing where they just, because if it was Raw or SmackDown, they would just have to overdo it. Like especially Raw, they would overdo it and overdo it and overdo it. So every week it's just the wrestlers kissing each other. That would be homoerotic. Which is fine. I'm just saying it's not the goal of this particular program. Gargano did not leave after all. Of course he didn't. Why would Gargano go away? The way won't go away. Gargamel attacks Karrion Kross. in his car and slams the door on Cross's shoulder a couple times or something. Cross bounces back up and chokes out Gargano as he's cutting a promo with a stupid camera, which makes perfect sense. Cross should get up. I was afraid they were going to have Gargano leave, have Karrion Cross land. But he chokes out Johnny Gargano right there and says it was stupid. And then I like this too. Austin Theory attacks from behind and Cross throws Theory. He smacks him in the back with that running back elbow and smashes him into like a garage door. And then Cross backs way up and it looks like he's going to run over Gargano. And I love what happened here. Sorry, this isn't a very funny episode. There's just a lot of stuff I liked and so I didn't. Nothing too amusing for me to throw at you. They made it look like Cross and Scarlett were going to run over Johnny Gargano, but the car keeps going, and you see that Joe had pulled a mosquito. Hold on. No. Did I get it? I don't know. I don't think so. Son of a bitch, maybe later. You see that Joe had pulled Gargamel out of harm's way, and he pretty much dragged Gargamel and Austin Theory off like a bunch of stupid kids. This was so much better than if they had Cross just hit Gargano with the car, and the car stops and Gargano would roll on the hood, and Gargano would wrestle him next week anyway and be competitive with the guy twice his size, which is going to be stupid. I'm recalling it right now. It's going to look stupid, but it's Gargano. We need to have as much Gargano as possible and make him look awesome as possible. Okay, so that was way better. And it's much more believable that Gargano could attempt to wrestle Cross next week, not having actually been hit by the car, but it shows you Cross's evil intent. It's like a horror movie when the screen goes black and you just assume the worst of how Jason or Freddy or Michael Myers hack somebody's head off. When you actually show it and see this, oh wait, there's a mosquito. Get that motherfucker. When you actually show it, it kind of kills the effect. The imagination is scarier. So the idea that Cross wanted to kill him with his car is a bit more. To me, it's just a better visual, and it makes me more hyped for a real fight than knowing that Gargano. If Gargano had been hit by the car on the show, it makes it way less believable to me that Gargano is wrestling him next week. I want to get this fucking mosquito. Very distracted. Okay. Finally, we have the main event. God help us. North American Championship. Bronson Reed defends against Isaiah Swerve Scott, and then 5 idiots or whatever. I'm not really a big fan of Hit Row. It doesn't work for me. I don't understand. I mean, I'm just too old. I don't get it. I don't understand Swerve Scott holding his pinky fingers at his teeth. What the hell is that? I don't get it. I don't like the whole group. I don't like the idiot girl singing the song. I don't like the fat guys he has hanging out with him. I don't know what they do. It doesn't work for me, but whatever. Bronson, I was annoyed at first. I didn't think Scott was selling enough for Bronson, but then Bronson starts bumping him around really good, heavy chops, etc., etc. One thing in particular, Bronson is standing on the ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring, and Swerve goes to sunset flip power bomb him from the ring over Bronson's giant behind to power bomb him on the outside. But Bronson stays and does like the sit out, throws his legs out, and throws all his weight, crushing his buttocks on Swerve's chest, smashing Swerve into the ring apron, which again is the hardest part of the ring. And they did a wacky. No, it wasn't that bad finish. Bronson threw one fat bastard through the plexiglass thing, and then another fat imbecile was going, "Oh, what happened? Are you okay?" And then Bronson tosses that stupid piece of shit to the floor, and then he ignores that dumb hoe, and then he crawls in and he gets a 450 splash on his head from Swerve Scott and gets pinned. And I shouldn't have called her dumb hoe. Who cares? It's 10 people listening to this. Yeah, so Bronson Reed has lost the North American Championship. Isaiah Swerve Scott, that's who they're going to go with. Obviously, I mean, it's no secret on the internet that on their main event show, Bronson Reed and Karrion Cross have had some matches, and they're the two biggest guys in NXT, and I wouldn't be surprised. Surprised they didn't grab Dexter Lumis too. He's a big bastard, huh? But he doesn't talk. But yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if Gargano takes it from Cross as well. Also, I mean, it's kind of common sense if this Nikki Cross, who is doing a superhero thing and calling herself Nikki Ash, then okay, you kind of think they just don't want two crosses on the same show. I think that's kind of a no-brainer. I'm guessing, but why would you do that? Either have Carrion. Oh God, I hope he's not just Carrion. Ugh. I'll be carrying on for a long time about how jokes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Um, so I wouldn't be surprised if Gargano wins the thing, and we see Bronson Reed in relatively near future on one of the two major shows as well. He's a big boy. He's a big boy. So it's looking to be pretty good. So not on Hulu. I haven't watched it yet. LA Knight, and that's why I'm going to find it. Cut a promo saying he'll put the $1 million belt of a championship, up against Cameron Grimes. But if Grimes doesn't win, Grimes has to be LA Knight's butler, which is hilarious. And yes, I would have pointed this out anyway, but somebody beat me to it. Yes, that is literally a plot to one of the episodes of Seinfeld, which is hilarious. But lure. Will be interesting to see Cameron Grimes because I don't think they're taking that belt off a championship or off of LA Knight anytime soon. But I will find that promo somewhere online and watch it on the YouTube. Nothing else going on this week. I'm gonna try to do the last two big fight scenes of my latest Sunbob episode. Thank you for all who watched the preview, the first scene of my mini Cobra Commander origin. I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it would be interesting if in Sunbob this particular Cobra, because this is like the first episode of my Sunbob canon, even though it's the most recent one I've made. I like going backwards. The movie was the end, and then we'll play around with it. But in my mind, this is the first of the Sunbob episodes, and I like the idea of it just being a trooper who killed an officer who killed the Cobra Commander, and really he's just some scumbag. And is Cobra going to notice an officer and a trooper are technically missing because the officer's dead and the trooper's pretending to be the commander? No, why would they? Why would they care enough to take good inventory of their lowest ranking officials there? It's not like Destro's missing, you know what I mean? It's just the trooper. Like, okay, who cares if these two guys are missing? And that's why and that explains a little bit of his nincompoopery or his incompetence to be the commander of Cobra, because he was really just a trooper who, the previous Cobra commander was in very similar fashion, was just too arrogant to think that a trooper was ever going to do that to him. And he was right, he didn't. A trooper did not kill Cobra Commander in my episode, an officer did. And 1 second later, the officer got killed by the trooper. So it was a setup to a setup. I thought it was fun. And I'm enjoying making this episode. It's a lot more grounded than my previous He-Man Transformers giant insane mashup. So I think fans who kind of like Sunbow but really prefer the comics may like this style a little bit more. I killed 2 people, which is not usually what I do, but I thought it would be fun. Something different. I have no idea how many more of these I have in me. After this, I want to do a 2-parter. I'm going to kill Serpentor, is what I'm going to do. I gave it away. I made my own birth for him. I'm going to make my own death for him. But I appreciate that. New Beach Town got put on hold a little bit. Jesse's not feeling so hot. So hopefully tomorrow or Friday we have that online. We're trying our best, folks. So hang tight. I'll give it away. I'm gonna review Weekend at Bernie's, the popular film from 1989. Also had to compete with the 1989 Batman that summer. So I'll tell you all about what I thought about Weekend at Bernie's. Bob Squad, I can't thank you enough. You are absolutely tremendous. You are the bee's knees, the cat's meow, the cat's pajamas. You squeeze the lemon, you stop on a dime, you don't know where you're going, but you're making a good time. A one-trick pony, being a dead horse, there's no stopping you, but do me one favor. If someone grabs you by the head and by the tights and throws you over the top rope, just go right to the floor. Just land on your feet and crumble on the floor. Don't hit the ring apron. Why?